Denny's, and then I saw Cyrus, and then those three are the ones for sure that I listen to start to finish.
For sure, you can throw these on.
And then I think I saw that you're friends with like, oh my god, like all the Eternal Boys.
Yeah, so Eternal. That's my cousin Demetrius and Tristan.
Yes, yeah, I know Demetrius, and then Tristan's girlfriend works for me.
Yes.
And then I know the other owner, Hugo, and then Rudy. Like I know all those guys. I've known them forever.
It's insane how just how small like El Paso is, right?
It really is.
It's small, but it feels big. But like, what do you think that is? Like when you think about El Paso, like what makes it kind of unique like that? You know?
Well, it's like a big little city, and you know everyone always like kind of talks shit like, oh, it sucks because everybody knows everybody, and it's like, well, you can't think of it like that. I think you have to think of it as like, if you do know this person, or if this other person knows this person, like what can you all do to kind of collaborate? Kind of make things better, or like maybe I for example, with me, like a lot of my friends, or the majority of my friends, are West Side people. So whenever I do hang out with someone that lives on the East Side and they show me like a new place on the East Side, or that's kind of what I'm talking about. Like they can introduce you to things that kind of take you out of your norm.
For sure. That's something that I kind of recently, obviously I have friends, but like it wasn't until like really I started doing the podcast that I really started kind of expanding that. And yeah, I mean, it's insane. Just like once you meet one person, like you can kind of make different connections from there. And I love it personally. Like I think it's a great, especially for like small business owners, you know, I think it's like tremendous for a lot of people, you know.
And it never fails. It's like, I'll be at later, I'll be at Hush, and someone will come say hi to me that I know, and they're with someone, and I'm like, hey, how are you? And they're like, oh my God, you two know each other? I'm like, it's kind of like expected, you know, here in El Paso.
No, yeah, for sure. So you did you grow up on the West Side?
No, I actually grew up in the Lower Valley.
Okay.
Grew up in the Lower Valley. Lower Valley kids never die.
Yeah.
But then I transitioned to downtown kind of West Side, just because downtown is where I work and play. And but that's what I was kind of telling you earlier. I used to live next door to later, and that was like trouble. Just because I was always out, and it's just like,
for sure. So yeah, before we get it, I always forget with the introduction. So it's episode 28, and today we're sitting with Junior Vasquez.
That is me.
Do you go by Junie?
I've got so many names. Junior, Junes, Junie, Junifer. I have so many names.
Yeah, for sure. Well, we're sitting with Junior Vasquez, and you are basically a partner with J&K. And what is your official title like at J&K?
I mean, my day-to-day title is Director of Operations. I'm kind of the one that kind of oversees everything day-to-day. But I am one of the managing partners as well.
Okay, awesome. And so, how did you get introduced to doing that, man? Like, man, this is a story. Yeah. And if some of your listeners, watchers have been around that long, they'll know what I'm talking about. I mean, we're born and raised party boys. Yeah. Me, Johnny, and Kiki. So are those were you guys, so Johnny and Kiki are your partners as well?
Yes.
Were you guys friends like before like everything that happened, or everything that came to fruition?
Yes. It kind of started off where I'm talking back in like downtown Union Plaza days. Okay. We're talking about like the Garden and Plum and Vanilla and all those places. So we're talking like 2000. God, I'm gonna kind of say how old I am. Like 2007, 2008. Okay. Yeah. There used to be a store called Homework. I think it closed not too long ago. It was probably one of the best places to get men's fashion here in El Paso. Okay. And at the opening night party, it was kind of like one of those little social events, networking events. And as luck would have it, I met Johnny that night.
And what were you doing at the time?
I was working for Verizon corporate at the time. Oh, okay. I come from a corporate background. I used to work for an electric company in Houston, NRG Energy, like NRG Stadium. Yeah. And then I transitioned over to Verizon corporate. So I was doing that at the time. And at that time, I actually had a blog, which is kind of the modern day, the podcast of back then. It was called the Mother Effin' Prince. We have like a running joke with that.
Yeah.
But I had a blog back then. It was kind of like a gossip, like social blog, like where to go, places to go eat, stuff like that.
Here in El Paso,
and like what to go watch, what to listen to. It was really, really cool, and it had a good little following.
Yeah.
And I went to this party with my best friend Jessica, and she was like, "Oh, my little brother is gonna be there, so you can meet him." Like, I had never met him. I had heard so much about him, and then that's when I met Johnny. And then we just casual friendship from there. We would see each other out when we would party. And then he had mentioned that he was teaming up with one of his friends to launch kind of a nighttime party series at this old bar called Jesky's over on Lee Trevino.
Yeah, for sure. I've heard of Jesky's.
Yeah, Jesky's was like the spot back in the days on Thursdays. And they launched this Thursday night party. I forgot what it was called. I think it was like Thirsty Thursdays. Something.
So Johnny at the time, was he like doing, like, was he a promoter? Was he like already in the bar scene, or like what?
I think that's where everything started. Yeah, honestly, them two kind of started this little series, and it just took off. Yeah. And then they started doing these shows at the Garden. They had LMFAO. Yeah. They had Steve Aoki. It was just like, it was like a time, time to be alive.
My older brother, he's what, 33? 34, and he grew up like and he tells me about the Garden and just all the stories, and like
he probably went to the brunches.
Oh, for sure he did. Yeah.
And I want to say maybe after the third or fourth party that just took off for them, and they just were so popular, and I was always there. I was always supporting them. I was always posting them on the blog. And back then, kind of Instagram was like very new, along with the Twitter and Facebook. So I was very good and very savvy at that, and pushing the blog that way. And Johnny was very quick to recognize that. He was like, "You're so visible and you're really good at pushing your blog and your brand. Why don't you come on and let's bring you on with J&K?" And I was like, "Oh, absolutely. Like, I love doing this." And that was it. The rest is history.
Wow.
Yeah, like we took off. We started doing the brunches, and then we started doing Trap Thursdays, and then we started little by little these little events just kind of just kept going and going and going. I mean, the brunch went on for I think like 8 years. And then that's when Later was born. And then it transitioned over to Born and Raised. And then it transitioned over to Lost and Found. And then it transitioned over to Hush Hush. Yeah. So it's just been a very good collaboration, a match made in heaven, us three.
Sure. That's awesome. Definitely we'll get more into that. But as far as you grew up your entire life here in El Paso?
I did.
Yeah. Okay. I did. And what high school did you? Because you went to the Lower Valley. You were in the Lower Valley. So where'd you go?
Riverside.
Okay. I don't know too many people from Riverside. I went to Andress on the Northeast. So
okay.
But yeah, what was your upbringing like?
Very, very calm upbringing. My parents are the complete opposite of me, and I love them to death. But they are like the homebodies. Okay. Like they're very like. They go to work and they come home, they do what they got to do, and then they go to bed. Yeah. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I think I'm appreciating that now that I'm getting a little bit older.
Yeah.
But back then it was just like, I want a little more. Especially since I was super social. At least, well, I guess we can get into that in a little bit. But as I was growing up, I was very shy. I was very kind of just to myself. I knew a lot of people, but high school was very interesting. I thought I wanted to be a doctor, so I went to the Magnet School of Bel Air, and that did not work out. And I transitioned back to Riverside, and things just kind of, typical high school life. A lot of the friends that I had in high school, I'm thankful that I still have them around. Yeah. But very calm. And then I went to school. I started off at community, and then over at UTEP. And then from there, just kind of where I found myself in my late 20s and began to be more social around the time that I started doing the blog. I think the blog was my kind of coming out of my shell and being a lot more social and meeting so many people.
How did the blog come about? Like, did you know that you liked writing and things like that, or?
It was, I mean, I don't even know if he's still around, but I was very influenced by Perez Hilton. I don't even know if he's still around.
I've heard of it. I mean, definitely heard of the name, but
he's a little bit of a, back then he was like a huge bully, and his blog was just like to talk shit about celebrities and musicians and whatnot. And I kind of wanted to do something like that, but to put my spin on it and to get people to do things, because I would like I told you, I was very social back then, so it would kind of surprise me when people my age like weren't really doing anything. They were like, I'm like, what are you doing on Saturday night? Oh, not really, I'm just gonna go to dinner. I was like, oh, let's go to the garden, let's go to Vanilla. And it was just kind of like, the scene was much different back then than it is now. I think the scene is a lot much bigger now than it was back then. But that was kind of my goal with the blog, was to introduce kind of a new spin in El Paso. And, you know, I'd go to Scottsdale, or I'd go to West Hollywood, or I'd go to Austin, and I'd be like so influenced by what I was seeing and what was going on over there. And I'm like, this is something we can take back to El Paso and kind of mirror it a little bit. Sure. And Johnny and Kiki were the same way. And I think that's why we were so successful with those parties. Yeah.
A lot of it probably, like, I guess from my perspective, a lot of it probably has to do a lot with traveling too.
100%.
Because like that's how you get a lot of inspiration.
100%. You know? We're always out of town.
Yeah. And yeah, it's just like something about like, would you agree that El Paso is kind of like behind in a lot of ways when it comes to like just really just business, nightlife? We're kind of like behind, like even though we still move in that direction, we're kind of lag a little bit behind.
You know, I hear that a lot. I hear a lot of people say El Paso's a good 10 years behind.
Yeah.
I would have to say no. Okay. I don't think so. You know, I don't think, for the size that El Paso is, and for kind of the market size that we have and the demographics that we have, I think we're good. Could we use a little bit more things? Yes, but the market is only so big.
Yeah.
So, you know, we could want all these things, but will they be successful? It's probably a yes or no chance.
Yeah.
Just because the market isn't that big. But yes, if you're comparing it to like Scottsdale and LA, like I can see where people could make that kind of, you know, form that opinion like, oh, we're 10 years behind, we're 5 years behind. But me personally, and being in the business that I am, I don't think that we are.
Yeah, for sure. So growing up, you were doing, I mean, the blog. What would you say is because the reason I started this pod was mental health. That was kind of like the whole thing that kind of inspired me to just like talk to more people and just kind of share my own story, and then at the same time have people, you know, share their own stories. So for you, like either growing up or you could even be recently, what's some of like just I guess some of the tougher things you've had to go through in your life, like mentally, that come to mind?
You know, in this line of work that I'm in, it can be a lot. You know, we're not only in the nightlife part of it. We do a lot of things outside of that. We do a lot of real estate, and we do we have like our co-working space. It's not, we don't just limit ourselves to that one thing. And I'm that kind of person that I like to tackle on a lot of different duties, especially because I'm very hands-on. But back then when we started, I was very, I was very kind of stingy, and I wouldn't like to delegate anything. I was very much like, I'm going to do it. If I can't do it right now, I will get to it. And if I don't get to it, well, then I'll figure it out tomorrow, or I'll figure it out the next day.
Would you consider that micromanaging in a way?
No, not micromanaging, because my team is not the kind of team where we don't like to micromanage each other. But we also make the assumption that everything's going to get done.
Okay.
And for the most part, it does. Yeah. But kind of dealing with that has kind of been something that I've had to be able to kind of learn to delegate certain things. Like, okay, well, I don't necessarily have to do this all on my own. I can give it to my one of my coworkers. I can give it to one of my assistants per se to help. So that has kind of changed me a little bit, because my anxiety sometimes can just be through the roof, especially like on event days. Like we'll have a block party. Like we just had a block party a couple of months ago for Zoo, and it was probably one of the first times we've had an event where I was not going crazy. Like everything was just completely organized, and I don't take all the credit for it. My team is amazing, but it was one of the first times where it was like, oh my God, like I don't know why I spent so much time freaking out.
Yeah. And we talk about anxiety. Like what do you feel when you're going through that?
I mean, it's rough. It's rough. Like, you know, you've got 1,000 things going through your head. You've got, you know, you have to, with me, it's like I have the idea that I have so many people that I'm responsible for. I have so many employees. I have so many managers that, you know, look up for help, and I have to kind of be strong.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that I do everything on my own, because I don't, but I've had to learn to kind of deal with that. And my team has been really good on knowing like when I need help, and kind of helping me deal with that kind of anxiety or my ADHD.
Yeah.
But that's kind of one of the things I've learned to deal with over these last couple of years.
Have you ever experienced a panic attack?
No.
It hasn't gotten to that point.
It hasn't gotten to that point. But like before, it would be on an event day and someone would come ask me something, and I would literally just like snap, because it's just like, I've got so much going on. I can't believe that you're coming and asking me something like this. And, you know, I have to remember that at the end of the day, I am a leader for these people, and I have to be kind of strong and make sure that everything's getting done. And no matter what, you know, at the end of the day, there's always somebody that has my back.
For sure. What quality do you think makes you a good leader to people in business, or even just in life in general? What do you think that entails? I
think I'm very empathetic, and that's one thing that you have to be in life, is you have to be very empathetic. Yes, at times I can be like frustrated, or I can sound like an asshole with my responses, but at the end of the day, I'm empathetic towards anything and anybody. And like I said, in life, you have to be. It's not, what's that saying? It's not what you say, it's how you say it. And with this generation now, it's like you have to be that way if you're going to be a leader of a team, or if you're going to be a manager, or if you're going to be an owner or whatever. You have to live by that idea, because if not, you will be in so much trouble.
Yeah, for sure. What I heard, I don't know exactly how the quote goes, but it's as a leader, people aren't serving you, you're serving like the people in a way. Yeah.
And it's just the generations are so different now. Yeah. I think I'm a little bit older, so like my work ethic is completely different to the way that a lot of my staff's is. Not that it's bad and not that I'm judging, but the ideas are just so different, and they're not as aligned as they should be. But you have to find a way to deal with it and adapt to them. Especially as a leader, you have to be able to adapt, because if you don't, again, you're in so much trouble.
When you say like the work ethic, what do you think is the biggest difference between like your generation and my generation? Because I'm 24, and I'm sure you have a lot of employees that you deal with that are kind of like my age, right?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I might get a little judged here, but no, I mean, I think it's just like
entitlement, or no?
Yes, okay. A little bit of that, but I think it's also just like, I think with me and the way that I think, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that thinks like this, but like the way that I was brought up, because I've been working since I was 11 years old. Yeah. I mean, I knew from the get-go that I wanted to work, and I wanted to have a job from the time that I was, a little kid. So I've had that mentality where the whole idea of clocking in and out, it just doesn't exist to me. And with this new generation, it is very that. And it is, and yeah, you have to abide by certain laws, and we do, but I guess it's more for me the idea. And it's just like, we have something to do, and not everybody. And I guess I should clarify that. I don't think that everybody in this generation is like that. But that's one thing. Yeah. And then you said it, the entitlement. I think a lot of it is the whininess sometimes. It's like, I'm tired. Or like, I don't understand it. They'll say one thing and then they say another. And I'm like, oh my God, well, which is it? Because you said this and now you're saying this. I think just that. Yeah. And not necessarily that it's bad, because I love my staff. Yeah. I love them all. But you, like I said, you have to adapt, because if you don't, it's just like you're setting yourself up for failure. Because I could easily be the kind of leader that's just like a complete dick, and I could just be like, shut up and just get it done. But I don't see us succeeding with that kind of mentality or that kind of leadership, or if we ran our businesses that way. Oh my God, no.
Do you think it's possible to be where the position you guys are in now without those super like long hours and just like working?
No. And that's one thing about my partners and my team, is that they know, and we all think alike. We're completely in sync. When we have a vision, we have a goal, and we will get it done. And that's one thing that I love about my team.
Yeah. So what's like all right. So I'm curious about later. So like it's essentially a house, right?
It is.
Okay.
Or was.
Yeah, it was a house. Because that's kind of, you don't see. I'm trying to think of another. Is Lost and Found a house too?
It is, but that's not what it was before. I mean, it was a nail salon, I think, before. So it had already made that transition. The first time I saw Later, I didn't even know what these guys were cooking, and they were like, "Hey, show up here at this time." And I was like, "All right, cool." It's the middle of the summer. It was hot. We showed up, and I'm like, "Why are we at this house?"
What was it, like 2012?
It was no, it would have been the summer of 2014.
Okay,
the summer of 2014. Yeah, summer of 2014. And I show up, and I'm like, "What are we doing at this house?" And then Johnny's like, "This is like our next project. And like, it's gonna be a bar." And I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Yeah." And then a couple of that summer, I ended up going to Austin, and I went to Rainy Street, and it was just like, okay,
that's what it
now it clicks. Like, now I get it. Now I get the vision, and
that's what it reminds me of for sure. Yeah. What do you think? Because every time I go to later now, it's like I feel like that's the spot. Like, especially for like really any age. When did it like really, from the beginning, did it pop off, or like when did it really start getting like, because every time I go there's a line, like it's crazy. It's insane.
I mean, it's transitioned. When it started off, it was very different than it is now. Not in a bad way, but back then it was a little more calm, but also party. We didn't have a DJ in the beginning. It was like a house playlist. So it was like chill. All of the seating in the front wasn't there. So it's like literally just the front of the house.
Wow. Okay.
So it just limited the capacity even more, which I think at that point, back then in 2015, that's when kind of Union Plaza was kind of dying a little bit. So we were losing like the Garden and Plum and all those places.
Why did it die out? Because I hear so many good things, and like it just.
Oh man, Union Plaza was great, but I think kind of what attributed to the kind of slowdown in it was there was like a lot of violence back then. There was like you'd always see like big fights like towards that end where the little park is. And I think that's just kind of what hurt it. I don't know if it's ultimately what put the nail in the coffin, but that's kind of what did a lot. Yeah. Okay. And then so later opens, and it's like it becomes this like new place to go, and it's like small, so you either get in or you don't get in. And the kind of crowd that went back then, when we're talking almost 10 years ago, was very different. It was kind of more of a little bit of everybody back then.
Hipster?
You'd have like your hipsters, you'd have like your like groups of girls, like really pretty girls.
Yeah.
So then naturally all the guys start coming.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh my God, I can't get in. And like back then we didn't have like the couches and stuff. So there wasn't like, we didn't do bottle service back then either. So it was just like, it was very homey, very cozy, but cool. Like it just became that place to be, and it grew that reputation. And little by little, we started making these changes. Like, okay, well, let's add more seating. So then we added all the seating in the front, and then we added all the seating in the back, and then we made the couches bigger, and then we started doing bottle service, and it just became this monster.
Yeah.
I mean, well, you were there last week. It was our 8th anniversary last week, and it was just like, last week was such a good night. I can't remember the last time I vibed at Later. Like, I always have a good time at Later, but I can't remember the last time that I vibed like I did last weekend. The crowd that was there, and like people were dressed up, and we were like dancing, and it was just good vibes. And like I wasn't hammered, so like I was like just vibing and having a good time. But that's kind of the idea with Later is that just it becomes a little bit of like an escape. Like it's not. There's really not anything like it in El Paso. Yeah. And I don't say that in a cocky way. Like there really isn't anything like that in El Paso. So it becomes sort of like a little cozy escape.
For sure. Yeah, it's very different, and it's almost like it's hard to put your finger on it, but I don't know. It's just like, and you like, and then for me, like I always see a lot of people I know there, so it makes like you end up just like getting shots with everybody. It's just like it's a fun vibe, and
that's how it is.
And what I'm curious about is because like, all right, you even from when you first open, you have like pretty good success, right? Where do you like how do you draw that, or like how do you balance like innovating and just continuing to like make changes, but also like if what you're doing is working, then like why like just kind of like switch things around? But you have to in a way because you have to continue to evolve. So like, how do you guys manage that? Like, I'm kind of curious.
I think you have to, in this business, you have to pay attention to your market. Mm-hmm. You have to be aware of who's coming, and also like what's going on in other cities too. That you can. I don't want to say the word copy because I think that's really cheesy, but you know, you have to be able to kind of emulate it and make it your own, so that your market will understand it, embrace it, and ultimately so that it can be successful.
Yeah, for sure. And so like, what is like when you guys are thinking of like something new, like is it just ideas that you guys all come up with, or is it like, are you guys actively like sitting with each other and just figuring out what you can do, or is like, how does that look?
I mean, I'd like to say that everybody has a little piece of it, but I'll be completely honest and give credit where it's due. Johnny and Kiki are such geniuses when it comes to like concepts and bringing things to fruition, and then kind of they introduce it, and it's like we all embrace it, and then we all kind of get our footing, and everybody kind of puts in their own bits and pieces, and then ultimately it becomes a whole. We have an amazing design team in-house that just, we're so lucky that they understand, and we're able to just produce such quality product and be able to deliver quality product to the people of El Paso. Yeah,
for sure. And then, I mean, for someone, because you guys throw events also, like DJs and just block parties. That's the next time I really want to eventually, like pretty soon, throw my own event of some sort. Kind of already like thinking of like brainstorming, but because you've been through that and you understand it, what's something that someone who's going to throw an event of that sort, maybe it doesn't have to necessarily be like a party event, but just a gathering of people, what's advice you would give to someone?
Oh my God, plan. Yeah. Plan and have a good plan on paper. And I mean, in El Paso, you have to be able to deal with all kinds of obstacles. Just because, you know, like with us, we have our block parties. For example, we might have had a block party one year that was so awesome and everyone had a good time, and it's what people were talking about for the longest time. And the next year, it's like, well, how can we make it better? How can we, because we don't just want to do the same thing. Yeah. So it's like, well, why would we want to have the block party in the same place? Like, what can we do to make it better, make it newer, to appeal to these people that didn't come last year, to appeal to people that heard about it but didn't come, or that maybe heard about it but weren't sure if they wanted to go. So then you have to kind of keep all of that in mind and be able to switch it. And maybe what you have in mind might not be able to work. Yeah. So you always have to have a good plan on paper, a good plan B, when it comes to kind of events of that kind of magnitude.
Yeah. Is there something that always kind of comes up? Because I feel like people I've seen and talked to that throw events, they're like, dude, you're just going to have to prepare for
anything and everything like can happen. And then that's where like my anxiety shoots.
Is there any horror stories? Because you have anxiety, so like, is there something you could think about where it was like maybe someone didn't show up, or it was just like bad?
No. I mean, yeah, we've had artists like, oh my god, like there's lots of stories, but I think probably the one that sticks out the most was our very first Trap Fest. It was downtown. And it was on a little block. It was where the old Dead Beach used to be.
Okay.
On that tiny little street. Yeah. So I think it's just like 2 lanes and the parking lane. And it just took off. It was a monster. I don't think we were prepared. I take that back. I don't want to say that we weren't prepared. I don't think we were expecting that kind of response. But it worked, and we made it work. And that's what I tell you. Like, no matter what happens, my team just finds a way to get it done. They don't complain. Like, they just figure it out, and they'll run with it. And I think that one sticks out just because it was just our first one, and we figured everything out as we went. I think we had like 3,000 people. Jesus. And we were just used to like Trap Thursdays with like, I don't know, but I think the Garden would do like 400 people back then. And we were like comfortable with that every Thursday. Yeah. And then it's like, oh my God, you have 3,000 people and you have to figure it out. You're responsible for them. You're not only putting on the event, but you're also in charge of the bar. And then you're also selling merchandise. And you have to make sure that everyone gets in okay. And do you have enough security? Do you have enough employees? Yeah. And it's just like all of those things become things that you have to think about when you're putting on events. So like when people ask like, oh, I want to put on an event, I'm like, you better be ready. You better be ready to spend some money. Yeah. Because it's a lot of work. It's a lot of work.
For sure. Should I go big or should I do a small one first?
Well, what do you want to do? Like an artist?
I want to. All right. So I haven't announced this yet. I might not even put this in, but just between me and you.
Okay. I think that could work.
Yeah. We'll see. I'll definitely have to bounce some more ideas off you, but
yeah.
But yeah, it's in the works. And then, so what was the right after later? What was like the second spot?
Literally right after later. Later took off like guns blazing. Mm-hmm. Thank God. To the point, and keep in mind at this point it's crazy. It's still just us.
Yeah.
And I was still at my corporate job at that point when we opened, and it literally just took off, and it was like, all right, cool. You need to quit. And I was like, okay. And I soon after later opened, I quit Verizon, and I came on, and that's when I just took over everything. So I was like our HR department. I was our payroll. Like I was our operations. Like anything that had to do with employees, I would deal with that. And we all kind of have our own little duties that we're responsible for.
Yeah.
And it just like took off. So I was busy. And then shortly after later took off, we started working on, it just kind of happened by accident, actually. We signed a lease for some office space, but it was way too big for us. So we're like, well, why don't we make it like a cool space? Yeah. And that's how 1-1 was born. So we literally had these 2 projects at the same time. And then shortly after that, we started working on Born and Raised.
Okay. I don't think I ever went to Born and Raised. Where's that?
Born and Raised was over here on the east side.
Okay, yeah. Was that open for a good while?
It was open for a while. It was open for almost 3 years.
Oh wow. What was the concept of that? Like what was the vibe?
The idea there was to create something that was the complete opposite of later.
It sounds country. Is it
no,
country? Oh, okay.
No, it was very open format. Okay, it's where Showtime is.
Oh, okay.
That's where it was.
Right there.
It was right there. It was the complete opposite at the time of later. So it was like later we were trying to keep it like chill.
Yeah.
And like vibey, like.
Which I like if I go on Thursdays, like I went recently on a Thursday and I was like, I actually really like this vibe.
I love taking like my girlfriends there or like a first date. Like I try to tell them like, hey, like don't think that I'm just bringing you here to bring you here. Like I really like coming here during the week. But yeah, I totally get that idea.
For sure. But yeah, so Born and Raised, you're going just for more party vibe?
Like rager.
Okay. Yeah.
The space was huge. I mean, if you've been there when it's showtime, it's huge. It's a huge space. It was a little different, the layout. But it was a huge space, and we ended up like moving the brunches there, and then we ended up moving like Trap Thursdays there.
Okay.
So it was just a constant party there. Like it was just huge venue. We could fit like 500-600 people in there. But it was just a party.
Yeah. And what was why'd you guys close that one? Or why did that one?
I think it was just time. Yeah. The East Side was a little bit different back then than it is now. And then we had started working on Lost and Found at that point. Mm-hmm. So it was like, yeah. Right.
Do you feel like certain things could work on the West Side and like downtown, but if you on the East Side, it can't be like replicated? I
wouldn't say that, but I think the markets are very different.
It's a different demographic, right?
Yeah, I don't want to say different demographic because you can have like a 21-year-old from the West Side that doesn't really come to the East Side or vice versa. I think it's just you have to keep the idea that if you make something, it has to be something that appeals to everybody. Yeah. Plus, at times, I think the market here can sometimes be a little fickle. Mm-hmm. And they're all about you, and then they're not about you, and then they're about you again, and then they're not. So it's just like it's tricky. So you kind of have to find that medium where you appeal to everybody and where you don't get to that point. Yeah. But El Paso is a very interesting market. Yeah.
That's kind of what we're like kind of experiencing. I mean, it's still really early. We opened Neep in August, so it's we experienced like our first August and September were really good. Especially because of the weather, because it's an outdoor space. Really, really good days, but winter was a little rough, and we're slowly kind of like we had a really good day on this past Sunday because it's like warming up and stuff. But yeah, just kind of seeing firsthand, like we're just trying, like I say we because I help run the social media, and it's just really like brainstorming on it's a lot of events. Like we're just trying to do events for right now, just to kind of get us through. Just invite like having the run for it there and just things like that. But yeah, it's like it's constant, just trying to brainstorm and trying to what to bring. And
that's
stuff.
A funny thing about El Paso. El Paso is very event driven. Yeah, and it's like I'll be out at later, or I'll be at Lost, or I'll be at Hush on a Thursday or whatever, and somebody will DM me like, "Hey, how is it?" I'm like it's cool. Like I'm here having a chill drink. What event are they having today? I'm like, there doesn't have to be an event for you to just like go out. Like you could just go out,
Yeah,
like,
for sure.
That's one thing I've learned about El Paso. It's very event driven.
Yeah, for sure. And then the Lost and so what was after Born and Raised?
After Born and Raised was Lost and Found. Okay. And Lost and Found was just another monster in itself.
I've only been there like maybe like 2 or 3 times, so I'm not too familiar with it, but it's really nice. What's the difference between that and like let's just say later?
I mean, it's the complete opposite. Okay. At later you can go and it's like open format and you'll have like hip hop and stuff. And at Lost and Found, it's very like groovy vibes and like dance. And I mean, they play like hip hop too and stuff, but it's just more of like that. At least when it started, it was like that. And it was very like pretty with the colors and like very Miami vibes, very Palm Beach vibes. Now it's if you've been there recently, it's more of a venue now. It's not a bar anymore. It's a venue now. Okay.
So you can't go and just have a drink there now?
No.
Okay.
There's like occasional nights that they'll open up with stuff where you can go have a drink, but mainly now it's for shows. Yeah. Just because Lost and Found kind of transitioned into that, just because it was bringing these artists of such like big caliber. We had John Summit there when he had just started, and it's like now John Summit is huge.
Yeah. And tonight, is there an event tonight?
We have a show tonight.
Yeah. Are you supposed to be there?
Yeah, I get there a little late, but I'll be there. Tonight we have Guti. But I mean, the artists that have played that room, it's just like, and you have artists that want to play that room. You have, Gorgon City's played that room. Claptone has played that room. Yeah. Carnage has played that room.
That's the only one I just need to dabble more into my like EDM because I'm not too familiar with it. But I mean,
it's not even EDM. It's more of like it's like a different. Okay, yeah. It's like a different vibe now. I'll send
you house or like.
I don't want to house, but I don't want to limit it to just house. Because you've got like jungle vibes, and then you've got like house, and then you've got like dance, and then you, like these different. Yeah. I'll send you a good playlist. Okay. But Lost and Found is just such a unique space that like you walk, and same thing like with later you walk into Lost and Found, it's like, oh my god, you hear that a lot when our bars like open. I feel like I'm not even in El Paso anymore. And I laugh every time I hear that because it's so true. It's like you walk in and you're like transported into this like place, and it's like the colors are so pretty, and the aesthetic and the architecture and the lighting, and it's just like all of that is so important, like, to be successful. And going back, Lost and Found, that's what it is. Like it's that vibe, that groovy vibes, and like dance, and let's go see this DJ. But yeah, that's where we went to with the project after Born and Raised.
Yeah. What's the hardest part about working in your industry?
That's a pretty tough question.
Yeah.
I think you have to be, I don't want to say that it's the hardest thing, but you have to be able to commit, because you can't just, you're putting so much work and effort into this concept and into this space, and your team is putting the same amount of time and effort into it too. You have to be able to commit. So I don't want to say it's necessarily a bad thing, but you have to be able to commit. I don't know if there's anything challenging.
Yeah.
But you have to be able to.
You can't have 1 foot in, 1 foot out, you know?
Yeah. You can't be like, all right, today I'm all about it. Tomorrow I'm not. Today I'm not feeling it. You can't think like that.
What can you say, like, when a place has like a really good concept, maybe the design's really nice, maybe they have good drinks, but like sometimes they fail. Like what is that? Like, is it just, I mean, I'm sure there's a lot of different aspects to just having a bar and just having like just a space like that. Like what's just something you have to keep in mind when opening something like that?
You can't give up.
Yeah.
And I understand it. Like, finances play a huge part into things. Like, I know some people are like, they don't want to give up, and they're forced to, like, whatever the case may be. And I'm sure that's usually what the case is with most places. But you have to find your footing, whether it's your vibe or your marketing or your crowd. Like, you can't just, how do I say it? You can't just live by that idea where you're going to throw a bunch of ideas at the wall and pray that one sticks. You can't have that mentality. But you have to know your market. Like I said earlier, you have to know your market. You can't open something that is from LA that works over there, and you can't just copy and mirror it over here and think that it's going to work, because it doesn't work like that. You have to put the time, the effort. You have to study. You have to make changes. Not everything is going to work in El Paso. So I'd say that's probably the best advice I could give to someone that is maybe in that position or is thinking about opening something. You have to have that mentality.
Yeah, for sure. And then the most recent one, concept was Hush Hush, correct?
And then after Lost and Found, after Lost and Found, then we started doing apartments.
Okay. Yeah.
I was like, what can we do next?
And you just recently the bungalows, or?
So we just wrapped up our newest project, which is the bungalows at Sunset Heights.
Yeah.
They're amazing. Yeah. They're so cute. But
how much does rent cost?
$850.
Oh, that's not bad.
And they're pretty nice.
It's one bedroom too?
It's a studio.
Okay.
But it's so cool.
Yeah.
It's been completely renovated. It's got that, like, I don't know. I don't want to limit it if I say like Miami or like Palm Springs, because it's a little bit different, but it's got like that like vintage feel, that like vibe. Like, have you seen Don't Worry Darling?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm a little uncultured in that.
You're good. It's a movie with Harry Styles that came out like last year.
Okay.
But it's got like that 50s like aesthetic and vibe, but the bungalows are so cool.
Yeah.
But we just wrapped that up.
Can a podcast fit in there, you think?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think you could probably fit in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I'd probably say it's about the size of this room.
Oh, wow. Okay. So with kitchen and everything?
It's got a little kitchen and it's got a bathroom.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sick.
But yeah, we just wrapped that project up. I literally just moved the first 2 people in there today.
Really?
Today. I actually just moved in the first 2 tenants.
Awesome.
But we started dabbling into apartments. The bungalows is actually our 3rd residential property. We own the black house that's next door to Later. I don't know if you've ever noticed it on the corner.
I need to take a look next
time. It's a 3-unit apartment building. That's where I used to live.
Oh, wow, okay.
And I was just like, oh my God, like it was so cool, like living.
Would you walk to later
all the time?
Really?
Yes.
That's dangerous.
So dangerous. I'd be in bed like on a Wednesday at 10:30, like literally falling asleep, and I get a text like, "Yo, where you at?" Like I'm in bed. Like I'm at later. Come out with shot. I'm like, fuck. On my way. That's insane. But it was also kind of like easy. Like if I was fucked up, I could just like walk home.
Oh, dude, that's the best.
The best. And then Hush opened like right after that, so it was like I could hop back and forth. It's like a 5-minute Uber to Lost and Found. If I left my car somewhere, like my office is like a 5-minute walk. Like it was just the best.
That's the reason I would live downtown, is because I just like walking everywhere. Like that's my vibe.
The thing with downtown is that I can confidently say in 10 years from now it will look completely different.
Yeah,
I can confidently say that.
What makes you say that? Because I actually like to think about this a lot. Like what? Yeah, I want.
There's just so many like things going up, and it's just like the talks about the arena now going up at the old Asarco spot because it's not going to be downtown. And all these like new apartment buildings that are being completely renovated. I'm sure we're not the only ones that are doing it. And all of this traffic just going back downtown again. You've got other restaurants that are opening up downtown. So it's just like, and then with the stadium, I think that's kind of what kicked everything into high gear, because when the stadium opened later shortly, I can't remember if later was first or if the stadium was first. Mm-hmm. They were around the same time. And then that apartment complex right behind later opened up.
Okay.
So it's just like all of these things that are changing downtown little by little. It's not something that's going to happen overnight, but like I said, I can confidently say in 10 years, downtown is just going to be a monster.
Wow. Book it. He said it.
10 years. You heard it here first.
Yep. Yeah. I'm always thinking about that. Like what, when El Paso is just going to have that, like, especially downtown, just that little, like, just that extra, like, boom in a way. Because I like I said, I love downtown. If I could live there, like that'd be, if it were to live anywhere in El Paso, it'd probably be downtown.
And you just got such easy access. Like I literally feel if you live downtown, everything is just 20 minutes away.
Yeah.
Whether you come to the east side, it's 20 minutes. If you go to the west side, it's 20 minutes. If you go to Horizon, it's like maybe 20, 25. And that amazes me too. Like I don't come here very often to this side, but it's like Horizon, it's like its own little city now.
It's insane.
Crazy. Like I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, it's crazy. But what I actually enjoy too is like it's not even like people like if you live on the east side, people complain about like having to go west side. But for me, it's like if you live in any other city, 20 minutes is like normal. 25 minutes is a normal drive, and like far as maybe like 40, 45.
Yeah, that's a stretch.
But like that's why I don't mind driving to the downtown just to go to like the spots there. And you guys don't have any coffee shops? Have you guys ever opened a coffee shop?
No. I mean, but no, we haven't. Yeah. But we work very closely with the Viejo Boys.
Okay.
So they have their space at Lost and Found.
Yeah. That's true. It's like right there. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so like the Hush Hush is. That's like that opened what, like 2 years now? Or?
Hush Hush opened in summer of 2022.
So 2 years.
Yeah, this year will be 2 years.
Wow. And when's that anniversary?
In June.
June, okay.
We have this thing with our anniversaries.
Yeah.
Lost and Found is next. Lost and Found is in March.
Wow, okay.
And then Hush Hush is in June. Yeah. We go all out for our anniversaries.
Yeah, hell yeah. That's awesome. And so with Hush Hush, it's super unique. I don't think I've ever like been to, especially in El Paso.
See, you prove my point.
Yeah. So what went into that, the ideation phase of that? And
I think with that one was an interesting play, and it was that one was tough.
Yeah.
And I'm not afraid to tell you that one. That one was tough. We bought it when it was Blackbird.
Okay.
So, back then it was only later and Blackbird that were down there. Mm-hmm. And Blackbird was a very different crowd than later. Blackbird was like more like hipster chill. If you wanted like a very special cocktail that they would take like 5 minutes to make it, but it was amazing.
Yeah.
The Blackbird.
Okay.
And we bought it and we knew what we wanted to do with it. And boom, the pandemic hit.
Yeah.
And it was just like, we were literally at a standstill. And
was it already an outdoor spot?
Blackbird, it was a huge patio bar.
Okay.
So the inside was the same. Basically, the footprint is the same, except it didn't have the rooftop.
Okay.
We added the rooftop. But it was literally like someone hit the pause button. Like we couldn't do anything, like nothing. Like even in the beginning of the pandemic, like they didn't consider that whole essential work stuff. Like, so we were literally at a standstill, but you know, you still have a lot of obligations. You still have a team. You still have a mortgage. Like, you know, it doesn't stop. So that one was very tough. I mean, it took 2 years. Yeah. 2 years. That's probably the longest we've taken. But yeah, Hush Hush is definitely very unique.
It has like a what's the word? Middle Eastern vibe, would you say? Is that kind of what
it's got? Like a little blend of everything. It's got like that Middle Eastern, it's got like that Mexico, Oaxacan vibe. But good vibes only, just like the signs say.
Sure, yeah.
But yeah, that place is just so unique, and now that I'm getting a little bit older, it's like that's kind of like where I find my footing most of the time, just because it's so chill. I just want to go have a cocktail. Yeah. But then once the tequila hits, I'm like, all right, let's go to later.
Yeah. Is that your drink of choice, tequila?
No, I'm a vodka guy.
Oh, okay. I that's a good answer because I really like vodka too. Like
I am a vodka guy.
Like a good Moscow Mule is like my favorite.
Me, I'm classic, simple, just Belvedere soda, 3 lemons. Just
okay.
Easy.
Yeah.
But I do like my tequila. Like, don't get me wrong. Sure. But I'm also a big champagne guy too. Really? I'm a big Veuve Clicquot guy. Like, huge.
No, I haven't dabbled in champagne only on really New Year's, so definitely need to.
You gotta drink some Veuve.
Veuve?
Veuve.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, it's pronounced Veuve, but I just say Veuve because we're in El Paso.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, Veuve.
And that rooftop in Hush Hush, is it like it's a private area or like?
No, it's open to anybody. Okay. The only thing is just that it's limited in capacity. So if we're busy, you know, people get up there and don't leave. Yeah. So it's like, damn, I can't get up there, but no, it's not exclusive. Yeah, for sure. But it's definitely a vibe up there.
Oh yeah,
you know,
I've been there a few times. It's
yeah. I mean, like I said, you work with that bar that's like a patio bar, so it's just like El Paso is like built for that. It's like patio bars should be like a thing here, like because we have such great weather. And I think what was it, Groundhog Day today? It's gonna be in early spring, so that's like good news to me.
Yeah, like, for sure. Yeah. Oh, that's really good news.
Yeah, it's not gonna be a long winter.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. That's what we need because. Yeah, we definitely need to start getting more people. You should definitely let me know whenever you want to. It's in the Northeast. It's Dyer. Okay. But yeah, we should definitely check it out. It's dope. I bartend there like maybe right now only once a week because it's been so slow. But probably during the spring, summer, I'll be there a little bit more. But
hang in there. This is like the whole time with like New Year, New Me.
Yeah. For
sure. I just came off a dry January myself, and it's like I'm like ready. I'm ready. I didn't even last all month. I broke it for the anniversary, but it's okay.
Yeah, that's good. I wasn't drinking. So I'm doing this like a 75-day challenge.
Oh, you're doing that 75 hard or what is it called?
So I was at the anniversary and like I was like dodging shots, and I hate it because like I feel bad doing it, but it's just like, dude, I'm 30 days in, like I can't, you know.
And it's so hard here because people are like, come on. Yeah. And you're like, damn it.
Yeah, for sure.
I think people kind of read my face and they're like, okay. But
no, for sure. So how do you feel like just getting into like more, I don't know, just like society and stuff? How do you feel like dating has changed? Because I ask this to everybody because I'm always curious about this topic because, I think it's just, in my opinion, it's like a little bit different from
past
tough generations, you know.
And I speak for myself, but I think it's very tough. And I don't know if it's tough for me because of the industry that I'm in, but the relationships that I've had or have attempted to have, it's like you have to, if you're going to date someone in the industry, you have to be very secure with yourself.
Okay.
Because your person is, whether it's a bartender or whether it's a bouncer, like they're gonna meet so many people every single day, night. They have to be social. They're
attractive people too.
Yeah. And you know, when you work somewhere, you essentially become part of that, you know, establishment's, like, I don't want to say you're the face of them. I think that's a little strong, but you're a part of that establishment. So it's like you have to be social. You have to put yourself out there. You have to be like active on your socials. Mm-hmm. So if you're dating someone that isn't okay with that, it's always going to be an issue. Yeah. And
is that perfectly valid for someone? Because I know a lot of like there's a lot of guys and like who say like I'd never date a bartender, you know.
And that kind of pisses me off a little bit, because it's like, well, why do you say that? Like, not all bartenders are bad. Like, just because you have this idea of maybe one that you know or one that you dated doesn't mean that all of them are like that. Mm-hmm. And it's like, you can't, like I said, you have to be very secure. Like, this girl, if you're gonna talk to a bartender, like, she's gonna talk to people. She's gonna be friendly to people. She wants her tips. Like, that's how it works. It makes me laugh sometimes, those couples, and I'm not talking shit, but it always surprises me, like those couples that like where the boyfriend goes and visits the girlfriend that's working, and he sits there the like
whole time,
all day, and I'm like, wow, that's like major commitment. Like,
Well, like, I've definitely seen that, and
but deep down, I'm like, why do you not trust her? Like, what's going on there?
Nah, because I'm sure. I mean, you've been in the industry, so like, is there some dude or some couples where like he was there like every night she was working? Wow, okay.
But I mean, they're not causing any problems or anything, so it doesn't bother me. Sure. But I'm just like,
wow,
why are they always there? And he pays for his shit, so I'm like, I don't care.
That's the only thing I'm worried about.
But I'm just like, what's up with that? Like, I really, really think about it. I'm like, do you not trust her? Like, I mean, I get it. Like, she works at night, but it's not like she works here every day. She has off days. Like, you can't wait a day or two to see her. Like,
no, for sure.
But I mean, so going back, like, I think you have to be very secure. You have to be very, I think, open-minded too, because like whoever it is that you're dating is they have to put themselves out there. They have to, if the bar that they work at makes them dress a certain way, you might or might not be comfortable with that. They may make there's bars that make them promote like crazy, and they may or may not have a problem with that. Yeah. It's just like, you have to be ready to kind of deal with that. And don't get me wrong, I know a lot of people, and I have a lot of friends, some of my best friends, that are now together, that met in the industry, and it's a completely successful relationship, and I actually get jealous of it sometimes. But like, you find those people and you ask them what the success of their relationship, or what contributes to the success of the relationship, and it's like, you have to be secure, and you have to trust that person, and I mean, that's the only way it's gonna work.
I mean, I've had friends that kind of go through that same thing, and especially there's a lot of peer pressure involved in the nightlife, and especially when the drinks are flowing, it's
I mean, judgment gets clouded too when you're drunk, but I mean, that's why also, if you're going to be in this industry, like, you can't be fucked up all the time. Like, you just can't. You can't. And I think that's the mistake that a lot of people make getting into this industry, is that they get sucked into it, and they like live and breathe the industry. And I'm not judging. There's nothing wrong with that. But they also have to have some sort of balance. Sure. You have to have your work, and you have to have your life, and then you have to have your play. And you have to be able to level it all out, and be able to kind of devote time equally between the three.
Yeah.
But I think that's, again, the biggest mistake that a lot of people make, is they get sucked into it. And it's like, they're out on Monday, they're out on Tuesday, they're out on Wednesday.
Because then you start making friends with other bartenders and just people at other bars, and you get hooked up at a certain place.
Yeah, and that's kind of like I don't want to say like I said, I'm not dogging on it. Like, it works for some people, and that's what they want to do. That's completely fine. But El Paso has a very strong industry family, and I want to say that that's a good thing. You have people that hang out with each other, that work at different places, and that dynamic really, really works. But from what I've seen, those people do a good job of balancing it out. Like, they're not always partying.
Yeah. So prime examples like of people you worked with that actually balance the
100%.
Yeah.
100%. I know a lot of people like that work with us, that work at other bars, and we could easily be like, hey, let's go have a drink on Tuesday. And that's really all that it is. And we hang out and we share stories. But then, you know, we don't have to do it again on Wednesday, and we don't have to do it again on Thursday. And again, there's nothing wrong with that if you do, but I feel that that's where a lot of people get lost and at sometimes fail.
Yeah. What about the social media aspect of it? You think, like, as far as relationship goes, you think that kind of has a role to play in it as well?
I think it's hard now to have a relationship in the social media age. I think everything went downhill the moment DMs were introduced. It was like game over. Like, yeah, that's it. But again, props to those couples that make it work. And I'm jealous of some of those couples because it's like, unfortunately, I haven't met anyone that's been comfortable with what I do. Sadly, there's always something that I do that bugs somebody and whatever. At this point, I'm that kind of person where I'm not looking for anything. If it comes my way, it falls in my lap, I'll go for it. But I'm not stressing myself out. Over it. But I think social media is definitely a big deterrent in a lot of people's success or failure in a relationship. And especially because so many people are active on social media. I want to say that that's one of the good things about El Paso is that people that are kind of out in the scene and kind of popular and known have a really good social media following. So if you're dating someone that has something like that, you have to be prepared to deal with it. Like, because if not, forget it.
Yeah, it's really tough.
Super tough.
No, yeah, for sure. It's definitely, I mean, especially, that's kind of, I kind of grew up. It came out when I was like in middle school. So in a way, it's kind of like raised by it in a way. Not completely, but I kind of grew up with it. But yeah, it's definitely, and I'm still kind of young, so like I try to keep that in perspective, but also it's like, but also there's a lot of experiences I had where it can get tough, you know.
100%.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're pretty active as well. Like
pretty active.
I like your feed. It's just very aesthetically pleasing. Like it seems like everything's just very intentional. Have you always been a person like that?
I think I've always been active on social media. Like I said, after the blog, I just kind of put myself out there. And I feel like that's how you have to be if you want to have like a successful blog at that point. Or like when I launched this podcast, I feel like I constantly have to be putting myself out there. And it's all about the content now.
Yeah. So when you launch your podcast, what do you want it to revolve around?
Oh my God. I think the idea of it has changed so much since I originally wanted to do it. I wanted it to be focused around like industry life.
Okay.
But now it's like, I think that would only last for so long, especially here in El Paso. So I kind of want to evolve it a little bit more into like lifestyle and like maybe fashion. I'm still kind of finalizing the details, but I kind of want it to be more of a lifestyle podcast where you can come and be informed on something, or whether it's, I don't know, fashion or a new bar or a new person that you can get introduced to.
Yeah.
But I kind of want it to be like that.
Yeah. But you want to have a guest sitting down with you?
Yeah. I want to do a guest. I think there'll be a few with just me where I probably tell some crazy stories because I have so many industry crazy stories to talk about.
I want to hear some crazy stories.
Oh my God, no, there's so many.
One of them, all right, because I'm sure it goes like in all different directions. Just a very memorable one, like just like something that you would tell someone that's like,
oh my God, I mean, when people ask about the brunch, oh my God, I mean, I have so many stories.
Brunch at the Garden.
I mean, they were everywhere.
Right? Yeah, okay.
They were everywhere. They started out at G2, that little tiny restaurant on Stanton.
Yeah.
They started out there, and then they ended up moving or evolving or outgrew that space, I should say. And they ended up going to where the CVS now is on Mesa. You know that street that goes down? Like where Lowbrow used to be?
Yeah, I'm not familiar.
Well, Palomino used to be there.
Okay.
It's like a Domino's, and then I think it's Capri.
Okay, yeah.
And then it's the CVS.
Yes.
So that street that goes downhill, that's where the brunch used to be.
Okay.
So you'd see girls like rolling down the hill, all drunk.
Yeah.
And then from there they moved to the Garden, and then from the Garden they moved to Born and Raised. And then from Born and Raised, they moved to EPTX.
Oh, okay.
So it's like been everywhere.
Yeah.
It's that party that just...
Is there a brunch that that is pretty popping right now, or not really?
I don't know. Right now, no. Not that I can think of.
You need to change that.
I know, right?
Brainstorm a little bit.
But
Neep Collective next brunch.
There you go. I mean, daytime parties. I'm getting to that age where I like the day partying now.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. You'll still catch me out, but like the day partying is just more in my vibe. Like
you can get fucked up and you'll still be in bed by like 10 o'clock.
Yeah, like I'm sending you that DM like at 2:30. Like, where are you at?
Exactly.
But more of like the daytime thing is much more my vibe. But I mean, oh my God, there's so many stories on the brunch. So what was your question? The craziest? Oh my God. So back before FitFam, there used to be an account called Ep.28. I don't know if you remember that.
No.
They captured a video of a girl that was sitting down on one of the bus benches outside of the brunch, and she was literally pissing herself.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
And after that, it's like the brunch became like super infamous after that. It was like...
So it probably got more people to the brunch.
100%.
Wow.
We never acknowledged it or used it in marketing in any way, but that video got out and it was just like, we need to go to that fucking party. And oh my God, the brunch was just a monster.
Yeah. What makes it? Is it just the fact that like just everybody's there? And, like,
yeah. Like it was just one of those parties that was like, you had to be there. Yeah. And like everybody was there. And if you weren't there, you were kind of like a loser. and like we did a really good job of like marketing it and theming it. I think one of the last ones that we had was for my birthday, because my birthday's on Cinco de Mayo.
Oh snap! Okay.
So we call it Junior de Mayo. The last one we had, one of the last ones we had was a brunch, and we brought James Kennedy. Do you know who he is?
I've heard of the name.
He's from Vanderpump Rules.
I've heard of the name as well. Yeah.
So we brought him. Oh my God, that was just like wild. Even he was like, "Fuck!" Like that was a party.
How do you get in contact with these dudes?
I mean, we have such a good relationship with a lot of these like other agencies.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've been booking shows for over 10 years.
Yeah.
So we have very good relationships with these companies.
Yeah. So anytime you go out of town, you have a tremendous time.
100%. Yeah. Whenever we go out of town, that's one of the cool perks about being in this industry and the people that we know and the artists that we've booked. Like if we go to Coachella or if we go to Scottsdale or if we go to Vegas, like we're taken care of pretty good.
Do you go to Vegas pretty often?
I go to Vegas pretty often. Yeah.
What's your favorite thing? Or what's your favorite spot there if you're gonna go out
to party?
Yeah.
Ooh, right now, Live.
Okay.
Shout out Live Las Vegas.
That's pretty new, right?
Yeah, they just opened up. We were there for the grand opening back in December. So it was cool to be at that new place. One of my very good friends is one of the people that runs it over there. His name is Maddie. So going over there for the grand opening, we were there for John Summit. So it was like, damn, like we're here at this new spot from a DJ that we had at our spot.
Wow.
And it's just like, it's cool to see things come kind of full circle.
Yeah.
You know?
Where's that at? Where's Live at?
Live is at the Fontainebleau, which is the new hotel at the end of the strip.
Okay. Yeah. I haven't, yeah, it's probably very new because the last one I went to was in the summer. It was Zook.
Zook's, that's across the street at Resorts World.
Resort World, yeah.
Yeah.
That was insane.
Yeah.
But I've only been to Vegas like maybe twice since I've been 21, so I'm still kind of dabbling, but oh man, it's a complete...
You're still young. I'd go to Vegas now that you're young, because back then I could be able to go for like 5 days. Like, yeah. There was one point where I was there a week.
Oh,
now
how do you not die after that week, dude? I feel like 3-4 days is like...
Okay, so that's you saying that at your age. Now it's like 2 nights. Get me out of here. Like,
yeah,
I'm going in a couple of weeks to see Adele, and I'm just like, Friday to Sunday, and I'm out. Like, I already booked my dinners, and I'm gonna party one night, and that's it. Because if not, I'm gonna be hungover the whole time. Like, I can't do Vegas like I used to. So do it now that you're young and embrace it. It's Vegas is a monster.
Mm-hmm. So if someone were to come to El Paso, for the first time, give me a rundown of the day you would want to take them through.
What day of the week?
Let's do a Friday.
Friday.
Yeah.
All right. What time do they get here?
They get here 7 a.m.
Oh, shit. All right. So I have to take the day off.
Yeah.
All right. So I would take him to breakfast I would take him to Carlos and Mickey's.
Okay.
For breakfast.
Right.
How old is this person? It's because I could do a lot. It could go
late
so many
20s,
different ways.
Early 30s.
Okay. All right. I'll take him to Carlos and Mickey's for breakfast. Not too early, like maybe like 10.
Okay.
Then let him go, settle in, chill a little bit. Pick you up at like 4:30. Then we go to Hush Hush for happy hour. Okay. Just because happy hour there is so cool.
Yeah, I've only been at night, so I need to check it out.
I'm not just saying it because it's Hush Hush. Yeah. Like, go there for happy hour.
Yeah.
And then go maybe have dinner at Casa. You got to go have dinner at Casa Patera.
Okay, I've been there once.
For sure. You got to go to Casa. If you can't get into Casa, because it can happen sometimes, then I would probably take him to Cafe Central. Okay. Because their espresso martinis are just chef's kiss there. And then after that, I would take them to this Friday. Yeah. So it's after dinner. I would probably take them to have a cocktail at... let me think. Probably go have a cocktail at Ambar.
I haven't been downtown, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Probably take him to Ambar, get some time, kill some time till about 11ish, and then I would take him back to Hush. Okay. And then chill there a little bit. Then when we're kind of feeling it, I take him to Later, and then we'll slam some shots. Okay. And if something's going on at Lost, we would end the night at Lost.
Oh, okay.
And then the next morning, I would wake him up, and I would take him to Viejo Coffee.
Yep, to revive them a little bit.
Yeah, and then send them on their way.
Wow, okay. That's what are you eating like when you're drunk as fuck, like at 2:30 a.m.?
Oof. All right. So this could go several ways too. Yeah. So it just depends on the vibe. But if you're leaving Lost, Later, or Hush, if you go to that Whataburger on University, oh my God, you're gonna be there a while. Yeah. So it's kind of a gamble. You can go down to Cometa. Okay. Yeah. Down on, what is it?
There's one on Mesa.
Mesa and where Hoppy Monk is.
And I head east, so there's a bunch on.
Oh yeah, you've got like one on Viscount. And,
one on each corner here.
Yeah. So if you go to that one on Mesa by Hoppy Monk, oh my God, sometimes the line is like in the parking lot. If that's the case, then we just say fuck it and we go to IHOP.
Okay. Yeah. That'll do it too.
But if not, we'll end it there. And if it's really, really bad, well, then we'll just go to the Whataburger on Mesa and Sunland Park and Mesa Hills. Okay, yeah. That one is usually gets the overflow of the UTEP one.
Whereabouts do you live right now?
Right now, I am kind of like East Central. I'm kind of house hunting right now, but my goal is to go back kind of west.
Mm-hmm. More west.
Mm-hmm. I haven't found anything that I like, and the home prices right now are absurd.
Yeah. Crazy. What's your give me like a normal, it's a Tuesday. What's Junie's day like?
Up by 7. I turn on the news. I'm boring. I'm old. I watch the news in the morning.
CNN or Fox News? I'm just kidding.
I watch K-Fox in the morning. I watch K-Fox. Go Robert and Liz. Yeah. Even though they're at night, but I watch K-Fox. Watch K-Fox. Get out of bed around 7:45, and then I'm at the office by like 9. Okay. And then if it's a Monday, I've got like my weekend wrap work, financials or payroll or that boring stuff. Then I go have lunch somewhere downtown about 2. I like to eat lunch pretty late. And then typically I like to leave the office like by 4:30.
Mm-hmm. Have you been to that I like that sandwich spot? It's a New York deli.
Oh my God, yes, the one across from Park Tavern.
Yes, yeah, I like
Bomb.
That place. Yeah,
they have the best grilled cheeses. Try them, trust me. Yeah. And it's just like so legit there. Like you walk up and like the smoke is coming out the door. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's pretty cool there. Sure. And then get home, maybe hop on the Peloton. If I'm feeling myself, I'll go do a workout at Black Flag. But that hasn't been happening in a while. I'm going tomorrow morning though. Are you going tomorrow morning?
I want to. No, I have a shoot tomorrow. But okay. I'm always at the runs, but I'm gonna miss this one.
I'll be there tomorrow. Maybe do a workout and then get home, do what I have to do around the house. But my guilty pleasure before bed every night is I watch Shark Tank.
Ooh, okay.
I'm just that show, like you could never get bored of it. Yeah. And it's one of those. I just set it to record, so my YouTube TV has probably every episode in there. Mm-hmm. And I could probably be watching the same one like 5 times, and I would never even notice it. But that show is just like my guilty pleasure. Like,
I don't think I've ever seen Shark Tank.
You've never seen Shark Tank? Oh my God! And it's right now, and go watch Shark Tank. Yeah, it's so good.
Yeah, for sure.
So good.
You need to watch it. So, what's on the horizon for you personally? Like, what are some of your goals that you have?
Short term or long term?
We'll do in the next year to 2 years?
I want to have a baby.
Ooh, okay.
I'm ready. I want to have a kid. Don't care if I'm in a relationship or not. Like, I know I'm ready. Mm-hmm. And that's probably one of the things I'm aiming towards the most. I'm ready. I'm fortunate enough that I've had the same best friends that I've had for almost going on 20 years now. Mm-hmm. And they're all married and they all have kids. I'm the only single one. I'm the only one without kids. So it's like, and I give them props. Like, when you make friendships like that work where the dynamic is still so different, I give so much props to my friends. Yeah. And they tell me the same thing. They're like, how do you put up with us? Like, we're so boring now. And I'm like, because you guys actually put an effort into our friendship. And like, you know, they don't go out like I do, but they make an effort and like, you know, go have a happy hour cocktail with me, or they'll go have dinner with me or whatever. And same thing with them. Like, I'll go to their kids' birthday parties, or I'll go hang out with them just at their house. Like, but I don't mean to kind of deviate from the topic, but that's kind of the goal, is to have a kid in the next year and a half, before I get too old either. I want to be at high school graduation, all viejito. And then just kind of keep on going. You know, we've got some things on the horizon. I think your thing died.
Yeah. We have the audio, so we'll just finish it off on the...
Just got some things on the horizon. I can't talk about them, they'll kill me.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I was gonna see what was on the horizon for J&K, but it's probably top secret.
We've got some stuff brewing. Yeah, we always do. We're never like dormant on. So
anything. When the first thing, when one thing opens, are you guys already like in the process usually of like at least brainstorming?
Yeah, brainstorming. But we are very good about focusing on something when we open it. Okay. We're not like, we open and whatever. No. We kind of, we're there when we nurture it and we make sure that it's successful. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, we're always thinking about something. We have me and the boys have a shared photo album, and we constantly just drop inspo in there. Mm-hmm. And like, you know, sometimes it'll get acknowledged. Sometimes it's like, oh shit, this shit is cool. Like, favorite this, and it's like, but yeah, we're always thinking of something. Mm-hmm. But yeah, we've got some stuff brewing.
That's awesome. What's something you'd say to someone who's going through a tough time right now, mentally, physically, in their life? What's just advice that you don't want to say to them?
You know, I would give I don't want to say typical, but the normal, stay strong. Like, everybody goes through tough times. Everybody. I think that tough times are what make you stronger. But I'm a firm believer in manifesting, whether it's like crazy. And I listen to these podcasts. I'm a podcast junkie, by the way. Yeah. I'm so basic, though. I listen to like Call Her Daddy and Hot Mess. Like, I'm very that. But I feel like manifesting has become such a thing recently. I hear so many people talking about it now, but it's like, I've been doing that for the longest time. And I can tell you that it is so true. Like, I don't want to say that I had a vision board per se, a physical one, but I had like a mental one. And I was just like, you know, business owner, you know, if there was a bag that I wanted, you know, or an outfit that I wanted, or, you know, I threw a Tesla on there. And it's just like, manifest, work hard, and you will make it happen. You will find a way to make it happen, or it will happen. But manifesting where you truly believe it, not where you're just like, okay, I want a Range Rover. I want a Range Rover. Like, no. It's got to be like, you really, 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 really envision it and picture it, and it will happen. I'm a firm believer in that. So if someone's going through a hard time, you have to believe that you're going to be okay. It might be hard and it might take a lot of work, but you will be okay. That's probably the best piece of advice that I would give to anybody. You know, I ended up doing something a little bit different than I wanted to do when I was a kid. Like I told you, I wanted to be a doctor, and that didn't work out. But ever since I was 11 years old, I mean, I used to work at a video store when I was 11 years old. Those were a thing back then, where you actually had to go and pick up your movies. Yeah. But like, before I actually was in the actual video store, I was playing video store with my little sister when I was 7 years old. Like, we'd get our Disney videos and pretend like we were renting them out to each other. But it's just like, you envision and you manifest those things and they will happen. So I ended up working at a video store, and then it ended up transitioning to, you know, when I was working there, I was like, hey, this is pretty cool. Like, I want to work for myself. Like, I want to be able to, you know, say what I want to do and come in when I want, which really isn't like that when you become a business owner. You never clock out when you're a business owner. And it just, evolved into that. So manifesting, just, I can't stress that enough. And like I said, I hear that so much now that I don't want to say that it's so basic, but you have to manifest. You have to.
Yes. Yes, for sure. Well, that's episode 28. 28 with Junior Vasquez, the most vulnerable player. And yeah, I'm so glad we got to do this.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
It was truly a pleasure, and I'm sure we'll be able to do it more in the future.
Yeah, you'll be on mine.
Yeah, for sure. That'd be awesome. If you have any, like I said, any questions, I'm sure I can save you a little bit of time whenever it comes to like just certain things.
But yeah, I'm sure we'll be bugging you.
For sure. Well, yeah, that's a wrap, guys. So see you next time. Peace.
Bye.